What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? Welcome to the Sixth Man Postgame Live, presented by Rock'em. Your Orlando Magic fall 119 to 125 in not one but double overtime in Miami to the Miami Heat. Yeah, that sucked. That was brutal. I mean, basically the last half of the fourth and all of overtime, both overtimes, I mean, just an offensive disaster class. Really, really bad. Magic led by as many as 12 in the fourth quarter. Miami goes on a run. Yeah, the rest is history. That was pretty bad. Welcome to the show. My name's Kevin. Glad you're hanging out with us. This is the Sixth Man Postgame Live. It's our live postgame show after every Orlando Magic game. Win, lose, draw, blowout, overtime. Doesn't matter. We're here after each and every one. So welcome to the show. It's presented by Rock'em. They're the world's largest sock store. They make some amazing socks and underwear for some of your favorite sports teams and even non-sports teams. I saw some ads recently from Rock'em for some fun Nickelodeon stuff, some SpongeBob socks and underwear you can buy at Rock'em.com. Just be sure that you use this code, Magic20. So it gets you 20% off your order, whether you're buying SpongeBob underwear or Orlando Magic socks, or take your pick. Check them out at Rock'em.com. Big shout out to Rock'em for sponsoring the show. And they're, like I said, a company based in Orlando. Big Magic fans over there, so big shout out to them. Man, that stinks. Golly, think about this. You are a Tyler Hero game winner with 0.5 seconds left, plus one more made free throw in regulation away from sweeping the Miami Heat. And instead, you go 2-2 against the Miami Heat on the season. That's our last matchup with Miami for the year, which also means you don't win the season series. The season series tied 2-2. So should the Magic and Heat end up tied, it goes to some other crazy tiebreaker. I don't even know, because normally it would go to like a division win or something like that. It probably goes to conference record, I would guess, actually. Maybe division. Actually, no, I take it back. I know what it is, because they're in the same division. It's division record, which I think right now the Magic still win that, but we can look at that later when we get in the standings. Frustrating night. Offense was terrible again in the last basically 11 minutes total of this game. So whatever. All right, let's go to the super chats to start us off. First, we get Mikey, who says, the sooner Paolo accepts that this is Franz's team, the better. Wow, strong words from Mikey to start us off tonight. Yeah, Paolo did not have a good night tonight and made it even worse down the stretch. Part of it is, I don't think it's fully his fault, as far as the stuff down the stretch, I mean, not the whole game. But down the stretch, the offense was just non-existent. It was very much just iso ball. Let's just let Paolo do whatever, and it did not work out tonight. Some nights that does, but tonight it did not. And Paolo made it doubly worse with some bad decisions down the stretch. I think about the pass he tried to fire into Anthony Black. That was not smart. I think about, obviously, the turnover there in the second overtime when the Magic desperately needed a bucket. Not good from Paolo tonight. Jalen Lawson with the super chat says, my request today for the pod. Can the chat not say this was bad effort? Not every loss means bad effort. Miami defended 5 well, and he was flustered. Miami is statistically a better defensive team than the Orlando Magic right now. Their defensive rating is better than the Magic's. You're 100% right. Miami is a very good defensive team. They almost always are every season because of Eric Spoelstra. So you are not wrong. I'm not going to sit here and disagree with that. They definitely defended him well. He still made some pretty bad decisions down the stretch. And then as far as effort, I think for the most part, you're right. I would argue that the first quarter, at least for maybe the first half of the first quarter, there was a lack of effort. When the Heat got off to that early start, like 18-8 lead or whatever it was, I felt like Miami was out-efforting the Magic, right? They turned it around later in the quarter, but I was pretty disappointed with how the Magic started this game. And ultimately, every possession counted in this one, a game that ends up going to not 1 but 2 overtimes. And another super chat here. This one's from Michael Martin. He says, our bad shooting will always be our downfall. Here's the thing. Tonight, the Magic shot the ball pretty well before the collapse, right? Where they didn't shoot the ball well is the free throw line. You lose this game at the free throw line. You can point at some other places as areas that the Magic didn't play well through the first 4 quarters, but single-handedly you can circle free throws because the Magic end up shooting 15 for 25 from the line tonight, 60%. And again, it's a game that goes to overtime, right? Which means every point matters, and you left 10 of them on the free throw line. 10 of them. We got another super chat here. This one's from Michael Martin. Says, hey, Magic fans, don't run Paolo out of town. Please, let's not run Paolo out of town, guys. I don't care if you think Franz is better, Paolo's better. I don't care. I don't want to say that about either of them because I think they're both great. And I'm happy they're both in Orlando, and I hope that stays that way. Oh, man, that sucks. Golly, that game was there for the taking, just like the other time we lost to Miami this season. Wow. 2 very, very winnable games that should have been won. And I guess maybe it's the trade-off for winning the first home game against Miami when you had the 25-point comeback. So that's a game you should have lost. You end up winning it. We've had 2 games against Miami that we should have won, and we lost them. So rough. All right. Let's hit some chat stuff tonight, man. Let's see. A lot of this stuff happened during the overtimes. I know there were a lot of you in the chat during overtime. I will pick off this one here that I see from Swordfish. Says Da Silva was cooking yet not in the game. Yeah, that was a conversation that was happening during the game for some of us. Was like Da Silva was, for large stretches of this game, your best offensive player. Why did he not touch the basketball for such a long stretch at the end? It was very, very unfortunate. Oh, man. That sucks. Let's see. I'm trying to skip ahead to where the game ended. Yeah. Janine says free throws and stagnant offense. Yeah, I mean, that's the summary of the loss for me. Free throws through the first 3.5 quarters, and then the last half of the fourth, and then overtimes, the offense was terrible. Luis Osario says, leaving Casella, and we are not all that yet. Yeah. Disappointing. Yeah, we had several Magic fans, several viewers of the Sixth Man Show, listeners of the Sixth Man Show at Casella Center tonight to see the Magic's game there, and unfortunately, this one did not go like the first one did. Bummer. Let's see. Seth Berry says, so frustrating when you have 2 All-Stars on the team and nobody can make a play down the stretch when they're both usually insanely clutch. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And again, credit to Miami's defense. That's a great defensive team. They really made life difficult for the Magic down the stretch. But I still think we played into their hands a little bit. Not making moves. Matthew Kennison says, trade deadline can't be any more clear now. No excuse to not do anything. Right now, we might as well be in the play-in. Well, we know that Jeff Weltman was at this game. A couple different Magic fans who were at the game tweeted out pictures of Jeff Weltman and videos of him on the phone, actually. And so there were jokes about him negotiating deals at the game. But yeah, I mean, he saw this. He saw it firsthand. So Majestic Beast, yeah, says Powell just needed to shoot that shot at the end of the first overtime, man. Dude thinks too much and was playing scared to end the game. Yeah, he forced that pass to Anthony Black. You'd rather him just go up and take a shot or at least try a little bit to get closer. I don't know. It was not his best stretch there at the end. Really, the whole game he didn't play well, but I kept thinking, okay, he hasn't played well. He's going to make the plays when it matters, and tonight he just didn't. And that's the way sports goes sometimes. So Matthew Garfinkel says, you know who I blame? Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne for constantly crapping on and downplaying the Miami Heat all year. Now we've choked to them twice. Karma. Guess what, Matthew? The Miami Heat are garbage. They're terrible. It's a terrible basketball team. They're not any good. They're not going to make any noise in the playoffs. I stand by those words. I don't think that's a good basketball team. I don't. I really don't. They eked out a win against us with 0.5 of a second left for their first win. And for the second win, they had to go to double overtime against us. I don't think it's a good basketball team. I think the Magic made some poor plays down the stretch in this game. I think the Magic missed a bunch of free throws, shouldn't have even been in this game. So I stand by it. Now, as part of that, what I'm saying, because I hate the Miami Heat and my bias is coming through, absolutely. And I stand by my bias too. I don't like the Miami Heat. So yeah, if you want to blame me, that's fine. I can't stand the Heat. I think Heat culture is a joke. And I think we're seeing it with the whole Jimmy Butler thing. He's a clown. And so is that whole organization. All right, moving on. Magic Prod 2 says 2-2 with the Heat, and Jimmy isn't even playing. Look, that's addition by subtraction at this point, guys. This whole idea that a lot of NBA fans have about Jimmy Butler, like who he is, that version of Jimmy Butler is gone. Okay? Even in the games that he's played this year, he has not been good. He is not the same basketball player he used to be, and now he's a addition by subtraction type of guy because he's just also a mess. A mess. All right, we got a couple super chats that came in here. Nick Monk says, definitely miss Suggs handling the ball. Guys, it is no coincidence that in the 13 games that we have had without, or is it? No, it's 11 games. The 11 games we have played without Jalen Suggs over these last few weeks, that we are 2-9. It is not a coincidence. We find out he's a late scratch not a scratch. He was questionable for this game anyway. We find out before the game he's not going to play. You're like, yikes, but I think we have enough to get it done, and we did not. You're exactly right. We missed Suggs handling the ball. We missed another good defender that we can put on guys like Tyler Hero. And yeah, 2-9 in 11 games without Jalen. 1-0 in games with Jalen over the last few weeks. Don't forget that. Ace the Baller says this game is going to suck, especially with the Jimmy situation. Yeah, it sucks. Absolutely sucks. Thanks for that super chat. Matthew Thomas says, I don't know where to read this. Should we consider trading Paolo or Franz? Neither can shoot. Go get a star who can. No. Thank you for the super chat, but no. Absolutely not. We're not trading them. Tyler says, the only consistency we have is injuries. I 100% agree. This team, I've said it before so many times, this team is crying out for someone to be consistent. That is why I believe Goga has become such I don't want to say, he's become such a fan favorite, but also he's become so liked by the coaching staff and everything because he's consistent. You know what you're going to get from Goga. Even tonight, Goga hasn't played in I don't know how many games. He gets you 10 points, 9 boards in 22 minutes. You know what you're going to get from Goga. Add in a couple blocks, like that's just what he does. And there are so few guys on this team that are consistent. It's tough. Jalen Lawson with a super chat says, fans, let's shut down any 22 versus 5 talk, please. 100% agree, Jalen. Absolutely agree. I don't like it. All right, let's keep going. We'll go back to the chat. We'll hit a few of these. We'll look at the box score and look at the scores around the league. Like a bajillion games today. Almost every team played today, which is, always exciting. Okay, here we are. Let's see. Devane says, Paolo too much dribbling instead of making a quick decision or moving the ball. I don't think you're wrong, but I also think it's guys just standing around. Like, it was all ISO ball down the stretch, and it's just not, I just don't get it. Yeah, you can pick your spots and do that from time to time. You cannot do that for almost 11 straight minutes. It was like that for both overtimes and part of the fourth quarter. Like, you just can't do that. 11, it's probably more than that. It's probably like 12, 13 minutes straight they did that. I just don't understand it. And it's not like it was working until they went back to it. It did not work at all. Like, think about the buckets the Magic scored down the stretch of this game. Some of them were miraculous. Think about the Franz shot that tied the game to send it to the double overtime. A miraculous shot. Had no business going in. He absolutely bails you out. It's a terrible offensive possession. Man, it's difficult stuff. First off, I want to shout out all of you that are still up right now, still hanging out with us. I know we've got over 170 hanging out with us on YouTube tonight. Thanks for watching the show. Obviously, this is a tough loss, but this is a good place to come vent. Come let out your frustration. Also, really quick, I'll just add, if you're brand new, we're the Sixth Man Show. We're an Orlando Magic podcast. We put out episodes every Monday and Thursday, and we're live here on YouTube after every Magic game. So if you're new here, definitely consider hitting subscribe. And thanks for hanging out with us. Janine with a super chat says, can we please stop with the 5 versus 22 debate already? They are both amazing and young. Absolutely. 100% agree. I love them both. I feel grateful that they are both on our team, both wearing Magic colors, and I hope they do that for a very long time. Seth says, can't say we didn't have a chance to we actually had multiple chances to win this game. Yeah, we had multiple chances to put the game away in the first 4 quarters, multiple chances to, as you said, win the game down the stretch. Couldn't do it. Swa says, where was crazy? But back to the old adage, make your free throws. Yeah, Kalel Ware. What in the world was that? 4 of 4 from 3? Killed us. Killed us in the end. All right, let's see. Jordan says they shouldn't be relying on P5 for every crunch time play. All the players vanished in the fourth quarter and overtimes. Yeah, I don't know if it was by design or the players just did it this way, but again, just the ISO ball, all Paolo, on a night where he didn't have it. Like, not great. Not great at all. The only hero says make your free throws. Wouldn't even had made it to overtime if we did. Paolo was gassed. 100% agree with that. He said you could see it. He was selling badly. Offense was a complete disaster in overtime. Biggest choke of the year. It was tough, yeah. And Paolo wasn't the only one. Lots of guys were really. I think Franz was absolutely gassed down the stretch. Almost every shot was short for him, except for the miraculous one that sent it to overtime. Yeah. Lots of people talking about it being a choke job. I mean, you can't argue with that. You had a 12-point lead halfway through the fourth quarter. You got to win that game. You cannot lose that game. Joe says that number 8 referee had money on the game. Yeah, refereeing wasn't great. I know one play that I think was kind of two plays for me that were kind of overlooked. Number 1, Kalel Ware, what would have been his 5th foul, they changed it to someone else, and so he stays on 4 fouls, and then has the foul later in the game that should have had him disqualified. Should have been his 6th foul. Ends up with just 5, and then he has the big. He's part of that big offensive rebound that led to the Tyler Hero 3. If you ask me, he shouldn't have been on the floor for that. So that bothered me. The individual play that bothered me was the the bad pass from Paolo, right? It was not a smart play. Should have gone for, taking his own shot. But when he tries to force that pass into AB, I think Anthony Black was probably fouled. Like, he's going for the basketball. I don't remember who came on over to his right side and knocked him over to the ground. I thought that was a foul. They let that one go. Yeah, to me, it wasn't a horribly officiated game. The other thing was that Tyler Hero kick out earlier in the game on that 3 ball. That one was a bad call, but this was nothing like Saturday's game against Detroit. That was disaster. I didn't think tonight was nearly as bad, but there were a couple things I maybe had an issue with. Oh, man. Kevin says, first off, hello, other Kevin. Says, no Goga in any of the overtimes is criminal. It felt like the team was relying on Franz and P5 to save them. Tough loss, but bounce back on Thursday against Portland. It's tough to say with Goga because, first game back, concussion protocol, minutes restriction, all those things. It's tough to weigh that, and who knows what his restriction was. I mean, you can look at it and guess it was around low 20s. We'll get more of him on Thursday for sure. And then, I agree. It was just a lot of standing around on offense. Hate that. Man. Yeah, a lot of frustration. I understand. Just looking through all your messages in the chat. Yeah, difficult loss. A lot of frustration. A lot of discussions about animal fecal matter. I see it all. Let's go to the box score and see what it's not pretty. We've seen worse, but it's not great. Here we go. Box score coming up hot. Franz ends up with 29 points, 8 boards, 3 assists. Ends up 2 of 10 from 3. Started shooting the ball well, but ended up having to jack a ton of threes up down the stretch. I think about one possession in particular. Was it overtime or late fourth quarter? I can't remember. Another situation, Powell with the ball late in the shot clock puts Franz Wagner in a hot potato situation. Throws him the ball with like less than 2 seconds left, and he has to launch a long-range 3 that he airballs. I think that was the airball 3. If not, he just definitely missed it. And so ends up 2 of 10 from 3, 7 of 10 from the line. Paolo, we've talked about him, 17 points, 7 of 21 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3, 1 of 3 from the free throw line. And 5 turnovers. Not a good night for Paolo at all. Wendell, I thought wasn't bad tonight. 14 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. Had a steal, 5 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. Had some good defensive possessions tonight for sure. I'll give him credit for that. Anthony Black, I thought was good tonight. 14 points, 3 assists. He was credited with 5 steals. How about that? He had 2 on Tyler Hero picking his pocket there. Ends up with 5 on the night. That's pretty good. Yeah, good night for Anthony Black. KCP, interesting night. Did not play super well. Shot the ball okay. 2 of 5 from 3. He did not look healthy at the end of this game. They put him in overtime. He looked like he was hobbling a little bit. So I don't know if he was dealing with something. He did play 36 minutes. But I think he was bothered by something tonight. We talked about Tristan earlier. Tristan was the best offensive player for large stretches of this game tonight. Ends up with 17.6 boards, 5 assists, 5 of 8 from 3. Beautiful night from Tristan. Goga, his first game back from the concussion and the hip injury, 10 points and 9 boards for him. Also got a really nice block. J.I., another really good game from J.I. today. 12 points, 8 boards, 5 offensive rebounds for Jonathan Isaac. 5 of 9 from the field, excuse me. And then Cole. Not a good night from Cole whatsoever at all. Plays 17 minutes, 5 fouls, doesn't score. Does get 7 assists. I didn't know he had 7 assists. I'll give him credit for that. But outside of that, the fouls tonight, man, Miami was looking to go at Cole Anthony because he could not defend without fouling. I'll give Cole the credit for the 7 assists. I had no idea. So I take back some of that. But defensively, at least, Cole had a really, really tough time tonight. Looking at some of the, what did we end up shooting from? So 45.9 from the field, 35.9 from 3. Wow, that fell apart. Magic were at 40% late in the fourth quarter, and then, yeah, that fell apart. Miami ends up shooting 36% from 3, 52% from the field. Tyler Hero ends up with 30 points and 12 assists and 8 rebounds. Barf. Gross. Hate that. All right, let's look at some of these team stats. Magic win the first quarter, a quarter they probably should have lost. They were not very good in most of that first quarter. They win the second quarter. They win the third quarter. Great. So the Magic win the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter is where you choked. 29-20 in favor of the Miami Heat, and then, of course, overtime to 9-3. The Magic scored 3 points in the second overtime. Sweet. That's great. 56 points in the paint for the Magic, 22 fast break points, 39 bench points. Hey, 39 bench points right now, it's pretty good for what you have on the bench without Mo Wagner. 39 is not bad. 14 turnovers for the Magic, leading to 29 points off turnovers. Good grief, Miami. That's impressive. I'll give them that. Oh, man. Hate losing this game, guys. Really, really do. That stinks. Luke says, Paolo was just off tonight. Yeah, not a good night. Heck yeah says, Mosley screwed up big time in the fourth. Got cute with the Franz minutes. Sent Goga back after being at the table. Also had 4 timeouts before 3 minutes. Instead took a timeout at 2:59. Took a timeout at 2:59. We were down to 1. Yes. I also mentioned the timeouts because Magic. I'm struggling to remember the very, very end of regulation. Magic got the ball with like 3, 4, 5 seconds left, something like that. If they had a timeout, could have advanced it. Instead, Franz Wagner forced to take a basically half-court shot that was well short. Because, yeah, that you have a timeout there. You have a chance to draw up something to win the game, and unfortunately did not happen. Rough. Yeah, lots of people talking about Tristan da Silva, wishing that he got more minutes, and especially in the fourth quarter. I 100% agree. Not sure why that happened. Chris says, straight up, though, AB and Tristan played their tails off. The future is bright still. One of those nights, you're just so impressed by Tristan da Silva. I think he's great. And then Anthony Black tonight, like we talked about earlier, super good. Can't be mad at either of those guys, which is pretty wild. Pretty wild. Oh, man. King the 7 says, got to hit free throws, stop ball watching when P5 and Franz have the ball. Yeah, it's tough. El Mexico says, don't forget, last year free throws was a problem. Same team, same problem. Yeah. Free throws have been on some nights have been much better this year, but there lately have been some really bad nights. I mean, even Saturday against the Pistons, right? Today, once again, missing a ton of free throws. Yeah, this really, really sucks. Rael says, I hate Miami even more after this. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Can't stand them. Can't stand Miami. Let's check out some scores around the league. I don't even have these pulled up yet. Like I said, ton of games. I was really, really hoping the Magic would win this game because I know the Pistons lost earlier tonight, which means the Magic would have definitely separated themselves in the standings from the Pistons. But let's see here tonight. Bucks are going to beat the Jazz. They're up by 22. Suns, Clippers still going on. It's an 8-point game. Whoa, what's going on? Lakers beat the Hornets. There's that Cavs Pistons game I was talking about. The Rockets beat the Celtics. Amen Thompson with a buzzer beater game winner. I still haven't seen that. I need to go watch that. Kings beat the Nets. Knicks 143-106 over the Grizzlies. Good gracious. The Raptors win again. This time it's against the Pelicans, and the Bulls beat the Nuggets. How about that one? Timberwolves beat the Hawks, and then the Mavericks, of course, beat the 6-39 Washington Wizards. Just when you think life is rough as a Magic fan, guys, at least we are not the Washington Wizards. Look at that. 6-39. That is disgusting. All right, to the standings now. The Miami Heat have now passed the Orlando Magic in the standings. Great. How awesome is that? Magic now half game back of the Miami Heat, 2.5 games back of the Pacers, 3.5 games back of the Milwaukee Bucks, and now pushing 7.5 games back of the Knicks. Knicks are as good as gone, folks. That 3 seed is gone. No chance. No chance for the 3 seed. 4 seed is getting dicey. You're 3.5 games back. You're level with the Pistons. You're a game up on the Hawks and 3.5 games up on the Bulls. Fortunately, you're still 5 games up on the Sixers for that 11th seed. Yeah, wow. Every night is important in the NBA. Every night is important in the Eastern Conference. It's going to be really, really tight, folks. It's going to be tough this last. What was tonight? Tonight was game number 48 for the Magic. Hard to believe. 34 games remain in the season. A lot of basketball to be played. And yeah, hope a game like tonight doesn't come back to bite the Magic when it comes to the standings, when it comes to tiebreakers, when it comes to all those things. All right, last couple thoughts from the chat before we call it tonight. Chris D says KCP running at the end of second overtime looks like looked like me running out there. Not good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Something was bothering him for sure. He was not at 100% late in the game. Matthew Kennison says Cole, Harris, and Houston have to get out of here, referring to the trade deadline, which is just a week and a half away. Obviously, we'll talk a lot more about that as the days go by, as we get closer to that. Luis Rosario says KCP came out at halftime with an ice bag on his left thigh. He does that from time to time. Obviously, you know this, Luis. You know, you go to a lot of Magic games. It's not uncommon for him to have something, wrapped, whether it's his back, his leg. I mean, he's an old man, right? But, yeah, I think that does line up with, how he looked at the end of the game. He was definitely favoring, one of his legs. So, oh, man. Heck yeah, says we didn't have a timeout left at the end of the fourth quarter because Mosley mismanagement. Yep. Yeah, that was... Look, I know you got to take timeouts to stop runs, but you also got to think about the long game at some point, right? Got to think about what... If you might need a timeout late in the game, and unfortunately, we burned him. Oh, man. Matthew Kinnison says, play-in team. Great. Worse than last year, and Weltman is still just chilling like a villain. We'll see. We got, 10 days-ish until the deadline. We'll see what happens. Soul Train says, 10 days till the deadline. Should be interesting. Let's go Magic. Yeah. All in all, I thought for the first 3 quarters, the Magic played pretty well. Not great. Pretty well. I was happy with the defense. The fourth quarter collapse, though. It hurts. And then the misery on offense to wrap the game up was really, really bad. Speaking of wrapping things up, we're going to wrap this one up. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Extra day off this week. Magic will go back to Orlando tonight. Have the day off there tomorrow. Fly to Portland, where we start a West Coast road trip. Couple easier ones to start, before it gets really, really tough. But yeah, we'll be back in it Thursday. Late night Magic basketball means late night post-game lives coming Thursday. We'll see you then, and let's go Magic.